Hello and welcome to Action Island presented by FanDuel. Right now, we are previewing the divisional round of the playoffs, and normally you're used to Action Island. We're doing an island game, right? Normally our experts are giving us their favorite bets for that individual game. We keep one bet on the island. We vote another bet off the island. Divisional weekend. We got a whole potpourri of games. We're doing it a little bit different. Each one of our analysts is going to give us their favorite bet for the games going on, each individual game. At the end of it, we will vote on which same game parlay we love. We're going to put it all together ourselves. Everything we're talking about, all the picks, all the data, all the research, all the analysis, available for free in the award-winning Action Network app. Also, don't forget, Dan Ravel is here with the market updates. We are presented by FanDuel. You don't want to be on the sidelines during the NFL playoffs, so get in on the action with FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. Right now, all customers can place a same-game parlay or same-game parlay plus of 3 legs or more on the NFL playoffs and get bonus bets back if you don't win. There are so many ways to bet on the NFL playoffs, including exclusive player props, live same-game parlays, alternate spreads, and so much more. So download the app today to start betting the NFL playoff. All right, first game up. You guys are each going to give me your favorite bet for Jacksonville, Kansas City. Simon, you start.
Chad, let's start off with an under. I love the under in this matchup. No surprise to you. I think you're on board with me in this under play. But I think the general public doesn't like to take Chiefs unders. And we talk all the time. This is when you want to back an under for this team. When they're outdoors, at home, they play a different style of football. We've seen Andy Reid, over his career, coach differently at home in these positions. So just the last 20 years, when Andy Reid's a 7-point favorite or more, he is 67% to the under. That's how high of a clip the under hits when his team is 700 points or more as a favorite. Why is that? People always ask that. Is it defensively? Is it offensively? What do they change scheme-wise? And I think it's just the fact that his team, when they get up, they kind of take the foot off the gas. Andy Reid's always been that way. He doesn't like to show all of his cards, especially in the playoffs, where you have a matchup between the Jaguars. Do we think the Jaguars are going to be this game? We do, Chad. We like them as a dog here. But we honestly both agree the safer bet probably is just taking the under here, where no one would be shocked if Lawrence, who had a great game last week, comes into Arrowhead and he's just overwhelmed, has a bad game. And on the flip side, Mahomes, we know what he does in the playoffs. Like, sure, they might come out to a 21-0 lead, but then he really does take the foot off the gas. They do these short underneath passes. They run the ball a lot. Historically, we've seen it. If you like the over, go ahead, play the first half. I just would not touch it full game. There's a reason this number shot up to 53. Now it's come down to 52.5. So to me, if we could still get to 53, Chad, I love the value on that play. And especially, we have all the trends and data backing up. Chiefs outdoor, at home, you take the under in these positions. Again, we don't even have weather yet as we sit here, but we don't need it. If it's just cold, we know that it's a big deal when it's freezing there, guys trying to catch those balls. So the fact that this total has just been ballooned so high because the hype around these two offenses, we love the value on this under.
I like when you say you're referencing, of course, when we talk on our podcast, The Favorites.
Yeah.
And, it's like I'm just a part of the team, and I love to be a part of the team. Gilles, what's your bet?
Yeah, I'm going to do an anytime touchdown, Chad, and I'm going to look at the Jaguars side. I'm going to take Christian Kirk for an anytime touchdown. And the reason being is the Chiefs defense. Their main vulnerable spot is over the middle, especially in the slot. They rank 31st in the NFL in touchdowns allowed to the slot, so that would be tight ends and wide receivers. But then you look at the wide receiver position, they actually rank 31st as well in touchdowns to wide receivers, allowing 20 touchdowns to the position. Now, Kirk, he lines up exclusively in the slot, over 80% of the snaps in that spot. And for what it's worth, he caught 2 touchdowns when they played at Arrowhead earlier in the season. So Christian Kirk, I think, is a great spot for this same game parlay.
All right. Vegas, tell me what your favorite bet is for Jacksonville, Kansas City.
And then I'm going to go back to the Christian Kirk as well. I'm going to take him over 65.5 yards receiving, which, like Gilles just said, stole a lot of my points, which they are all great points. The Chiefs are 31st in EPA allowed over the middle. And then they're also 8th in target share over the middle, which that is where Christian Kirk gets all of his love. So this one, for a same game parlay, it works really well because it's going to be correlated with the touchdown. So who knows? A huge touchdown pass could hit both of these at the same time. Under hits, money. We're good. But
All right.
Christian Kirk over 65.5 yards receiving.
All right. Christian Kirk over 65.5 yards receiving from Vegas. Christian Kirk, anytime touchdown from Gilles. Simon is on the under. It's at 53, 52.5. Look for it at those prices. Reminder, normally we vote after every round. Our panelists are going to vote at the end because we're running through best bets for each divisional round. We're going to vote on what the best same game parlay is according to our panelists at the end of the roundup for each game. So the next game up, Giants at Eagles. Very exciting game. The wise guy community is split on this one. Simon, you are a professional bettor. Weigh in, please.
Yeah, and the big split will definitely just be the fact that the Giants have been so good to all these pros. So I'm actually going against them. I'm going with the Eagles for my same game parlay, -7.5, -8. Just to me, a good number where this probably should be closer to 10. We just seen the overreaction by the public. They look at what happened last week. Daniel Jones, career game against arguably one of the worst defenses in the playoffs in the Vikings. Now you're getting the Eagles defense that is one of the best in all football. They led the league in sacks this season. They had over 70 sacks, which was third all-time record for sacks in a season. Their secondary actually was really good this year. People don't realize how good of a secondary they had. DVOA-wise, they were ranked second overall against the pass. So to me, I get it, the fun, the hype about the Giants, all their fans talking about this being the rebirth of that Super Bowl running team. Oh, we got the quarterback, we got the front four. I don't know if Daniel Jones could be put in the same space right now as Eli Manning. That's a little bit too much for me for one good game against that Vikings defense. So I do agree that this is a game where I usually would be on the dog, especially a divisional dog. But I think the public just overreacted to this number. Like this is one of those where the money has just been pouring in. We're seeing a lot of books showing 8 now on this Giants team. So despite all the money, all the tickets just pouring in on this Giants team, the lines keep moving against it. So we both wanted the 7, Chad. I think we're gonna have to suck it up here and take the 7.5. It's too good of a number to pass on. We're not here to bet pushes. We're here to bet wins. So I got no issue taking the -7.5.
That's right, Simon. We are going to do that. Gilles, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to side with the Eagles route here, and I'm going to be looking at the wide receiver spot. Now, I think A.J. Brown will have a very effective game, but I love Devontae Smith in this game, so I'm taking him for an anytime touchdown. Been a target machine, 9 straight games where he's had 8 or more targets, and in that span, he's had 5 touchdowns, one of them being against the Giants in the Meadowlands, where he caught this beautiful touchdown over the shoulder. And the reason why I love Devontae and A.J. Brown too is the Giants defense fairly predictable. They play the most man coverage in the NFL as far as secondaries go, and that's where Devontae Smith feasts. He has scored 5 of his 7 touchdowns against man coverage, so I love Devontae to have a nice day there in at Link.
All right, Vegas. I don't know if we're going to be looking for any correlation or not, but tell me what you're thinking.
Oh, we are, Chad. Devontae Smith over 62.5 yards receiving. Since week 11, he's averaged 89 yards per game. Like Jill said, 8+ targets in 9 straight games. And then this number has also gone over in 6 straight games. So in terms of like the trends, this number is just way too low. But with Adoree Jackson being back, he should have a lot of his attention on A.J. Brown, which should funnel Moreau or Holmes to Devontae, which it's a pretty good matchup for the majority of the receivers in this league, where the Giants have been thrown at 8th highest over expectation in terms of passing this year. So there isn't a receiver hotter than Devontae right now going into the season, which 62.5 just feels too low to me.
All right. So for the Giants, Eagles, same game parlay suggestion, we got the Eagles -7.5. Devontae Smith, anytime touchdown. Devontae Smith over his receiving yards. Next game up, Cincy at Buffalo, a rematch of the game that tragically did not finish because of the situation with Damar Hamlin a few weeks ago. This time, Cincinnati in Buffalo. Simon, start us off.
Back-to-back home favorites, Chad. People might be thinking I'm being held hostage here, but I'm not. This is just the way I bet in the playoffs. We get a little different here. I like the Bills. Give me the Bills -5, -5.5. Anything under 6. Anything under 6. We talk all the time how key the number of a 6 is. So to me, we're still getting great value here. There's different books moving this line around. Hopefully, by the time this airs, it keeps moving down more because I've seen a couple of really smart books push us up to 6. But I got faith in the public. They will come in on Cincy. They love Cincy. They love Joe Burrow as a dog. He's been very profitable for them. they're not realizing this is not the old, Bengals team this past season. But this season, we saw them take major steps all season, this Bengals team. Every week, right, they started out really slow, but you saw as that offensive line got comfortable, Joe Burrow got more comfortable, that offense got more in sync, and that's when they went on a crazy ATS run. I think they had at one point, they had covered 10 straight games. Last week, they didn't cover, right? The public, they got caught. That number got bet up too much. It's the same feeling this week, Chad. It feels like the public is all in on Cincy again, blindly taking them, not understanding this isn't the team they bet all season. They're down 3 starters on that offensive line. That's a major deal, especially when you're going against the last head coach in this whole playoffs. That's a defensive mind in McDermott. That's the Bills. Like the Bills, that's their strength right now. It's like, yes, Josh Allen, that offense is incredible. We've seen it time and time again. The defense really is one of those things in the playoffs that carries teams, where if the offense even sputters a little bit, that's when the defense steps up. I think after such a bad game last week by this defense, it's just a major bounce back spot. There's going to be no overlooking the third string quarterback here. This is Joe Burrow. This Bills defense is going to be well prepared to me. So people were shocked when they first saw this line. I was too, honestly, Chad. When I first saw this open, I didn't really get what was going on either. Now, as the week goes along, I think it makes more sense to most people betting this, where this is simply a play of the Bengals will struggle offensively. They just have too many injuries to that offensive line. And on the defensive side, they have 2 key positions out now in defense. So their secondary is a little banged up. Another reason we think Josh Allen will take advantage of this line. So I love this number. As long as it stays under 6, I think we're getting great value here.
All right. Buffalo Bills under 6. Gilles, what do you got?
A little preview there. Yeah, right? I am going with Dawson Knox touchdown, and I have bet him pretty much 3 of the last 4 weeks, and was betting him even in the game against the Bengals last time, because he's scored a touchdown now in 5 straight games. The rub and why we're getting a little bit more better of odds on Dawson is because the Bengals, they've been pretty good against tight ends this year. Only 3 touchdowns allowed to the position. But why I'm encouraged is that they actually did rank bottom 10 in both receptions and yards to the position. And I think Dawson Knox, I think this is one of those times where you just overlook that. He has 5 touchdowns now in 7 career playoff games, 4 of 5 when they play in Buffalo. And especially the odds. I find the odds is a key indicator here, because anything over plus 200 has been an auto bet for me. In 9 games this year, when he has been above plus 200 odds to score, he has scored in 6 of them. So Dawson Knox to me was an easy leg for the same game parlay.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised the number is as high as it is, given the productivity in the red zone for Dawson Knox. Vegas, what do you got?
I'm going to go with Joe Mixon over receiving yards. He's cleared over 25 and a half receiving yards as we stand right now, but he's cleared this number 7 of his last 8. We all know about the Bengals offensive line issues with those 3 starters out, who are their best 3 starters, I believe. So those offensive line being out, and then a potential game script of the Bengals playing from behind, it should lead to an over expectation in terms of passing opportunities, and then a lot of quicker passes to the running back that dump offs, given offensive line issues. The Bills are a top 10 defense in terms of target share against the running back, but between the game scripts and offensive line issues, those far outweigh it, where the Bengals have faced, I believe it's 6 top 10 target share defenses to the running back, and they've exceeded expectation in terms of the averages against that defense every time. So let's take Joe Mixon over 25 and a half yards receiving.
Interesting choice. When he played against the Ravens, all I remember about Joe Mixon is dropping a critical pass on 3rd down and getting trucked in pass blocking.
Destroyed.
So I would just be worried that Samaje Perine is just going to be the regular choice once they get to 3rd down. Let's get to the next game. We're going to see how that impacts how my notes impact voting later in the show. Next game up, last game of the weekend, Cowboys 49ers. Simon, you're up first.
Yeah, I wanted to take the Cowboys, but you know what we love here. We love the under 46.5. Got to play this key number in a 46.5, where I think the public is kind of being falsified into confidence here of, okay, these will be 2 high-powered scoring offenses, where I think the defenses of both these teams are just so strong, especially the D-lines of both teams, where Purdy's never seen a Micah Parsons. I really think he's about to get a wake-up call here. Their offense has not faced a defense anywhere near as good as this Dallas D-line is. So to me, that's a huge advantage for this Dallas defense, where I get the question marks around Dallas' secondary. I don't think it's going to matter in this game. I just don't think they're going to have it schemed up where Purdy's just going to be uncomfortable. And we saw last week when Seahawks got him off his spot, he did not like it, right? They really like to have him just a simple play action play, get them out in space, get them easy throws. That's kind of what they want to do here. Dallas is going to prep for that. Dallas will be able to take that away. And we saw when Dallas played against the Eagles and a running quarterback, they schemed that up, right? They had Michael Parsons schemed up to kind of QB watch that of the QB sprinting out wide. So all the things Purdy got away with these last couple of weeks of getting outside the pocket, moving around, I just don't think he'll be able to do that against this Dallas defense. And on the flip side, it's same with Dak, where we know Dak is obviously one of the top quarterbacks, but he's one of those quarterbacks he doesn't like to be moved around either. And we're looking at a 49ers defensive line that they lead the league in QB pressures. I mean, they're just a team where they might always get the sacks, but they're always in guys' laps. And that's kind of how this defense likes to play. So to me, we saw these two teams play last year in the playoffs. We saw it be a low-scoring game where Dallas needed to come back in the fourth quarter. Not that I see it playing out the same exact way, but I do see it playing out the same way of these teams will struggle early on to move the ball and get points. It's just going to be really feeling each other out because both these offenses haven't played defenses like this. These are just two of the best. I don't know. I'll put them both top 5, in my opinion, defenses this season, where Dallas, yes, the secondary, a lot of questions, but that D-line is so key. And we saw last week, Parsons really came out. Like he had struggled towards the end of that regular season. Last week, he led the league in pressures. So I love a bounce-back spot for Dallas defense, and the same goes for the 49ers defense at home. I just love this position. So no surprise, public is all over this over, Chad. It's just been fluctuating from 46.5 to 46. If you grab the 46.5, I'd grab that number. It's just such a key number. So I love that for our same game parlay.
All right. 46.5 under for Cowboys Niners. Gilles, what do you got?
Yeah, I think Simon made a great point that secondary has some question marks about it, and I want to answer them. And I want to take Brandon Ayuk for an anytime touchdown at plus 230ish. And right now, he had 8 touchdowns this season. He was first on the team in red zone targets, averaged at least 1 red zone target per game. But I think it's important to note that 5 of those 8 touchdowns that he scored were outside of the red zone. So it's not just him being looked at in the red zone. He could score in a variety of different ways. And the Cowboys defense, that secondary we were just talking about, gave up 22 touchdowns to wide receivers this year. That was last in the NFL. We just saw in that playoff game, I mean, I know he's not an old man, but Julio Jones is pretty much almost washed up. He burned them for a 30-yard touchdown, and the secondary tends to gamble, especially Trayvon Diggs. And the one thing about the Niners, too, their offense, and I think this is the reason why we're getting a little bit of inflated odds on Brandon Ayuk, is that everybody just draws so much attention. You've got Christian McCaffrey, Debo, George Kittle, like all these guys are all pro at their positions. And I think that's why we're getting a little bit more of inflated odds on a guy like Brandon Ayuk, who could be very effective and burn this defense. So I love him for a same game parlay in this game.
I like your logic there. Vegas, round us out.
I'm going to go with Dak over 14.5 yards rushing, which on the season, he's averaged exactly 15 yards rushing per game. But he's gone over this mark in 5 of the last 6. And like Simon was prefacing, like you got the Niners pass rush that is going to be coming in hot. And then you also have been noticing Dak running a lot more RPOs this year as of recently. And I think a lot of people are going to remember this past Monday night's game of Dak running the ball a lot with that rush that was coming in. So Dak over 14.5. This one just feels like one run. We're good. But yeah, it's just based off of the Niners D, and Dak wanted to make things happen or having to.
Well, listen, I was lucky enough to watch the Cowboys-Bucks game with Canada's biggest Cowboys fan, Gilles Gallant, and the number of times he talked about Dak being a different quarterback in the postseason and taking off a little bit earlier and being more aggressive with his legs. I think the total on that was 6, 7, 8, 9 times, basically every time Dak ran the ball. So you got to like this one as well. To round it up for the Cowboys and Niners, we got Simon under 46.5. We got Gilles on Brandon Ayuk, anytime touchdown. Vegas on Dak Prescott over his rushing yards. All right, fellas, it is time to vote. I will be the tiebreaker if necessary. But right now, I want you to write down your votes. 3, 2, 1, write them down. All right, let's reveal. 3, 2, 1. All right, it looks like we are on the Cowboys. The Eagles and the Giants. I got 2 on the Eagles and the Giants. I got 1. Simon, you're against that. I think you're on Cincinnati and Buffalo. Is that what that said? Right?
Yeah.
So, look, the roundup for the Eagles and the Giants, that was going to be the Eagles minus 7.5. Wow, you guys are bold. Vegas and Gilles going with wise guy Simon, Eagles minus 7.5. Then we're correlating Devontae Smith anytime touchdown, Devontae Smith over his reception yards. Let's go to Dan Ravel with the market updates.
Thanks, Chad. Let's get you to the top 5 most bet props for the weekend. Number 1 is Travis Etienne, over 17.5 receiving yards, minus 120. Number 2 is Dallas Goedert, over 50.5 receiving yards, minus 110. The third is Saquon Barkley, over 25.5 receiving yards, minus 110. The fourth, Devin Singletary, under 40.5 rushing yards, also minus 110. And finally, the fifth one, as we always seem to have, Josh Allen rushing yards, over 48.5 rushing yards, minus 115. And you don't want to be on the sidelines during the NFL playoffs. So get in on the action with FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. Right now, all customers can place a same-game parlay or same-game parlay plus of 3 legs or more on the NFL playoffs and get bonus bets back if you don't win. There's so many ways to bet on the NFL playoffs, including exclusive player props, live same-game parlays, alternate spreads, and so much more. So download the app today and start betting on the NFL playoffs. Chad, back to you.
All right, one more time. Our SGP, Eagles, minus 7.5. Devontae Smith, anytime touchdown. Devontae Smith over his receiving yards. Check out the screen for what the payout is for that bet. Don't forget, our guys had other same-game parlays they loved for all the games today. If you join our same-game parlay from Action Island, don't forget to tag Action Network HQ. Everything we talked about, all the picks, all the data, all the research, all the analysis, available for free in the award-winning Action Network app. This has been Action Island, presented by FanDuel. Good luck this weekend.